Hello everybody and welcome back to the Hermitcraft server. We are on the Seven Wonders build crew with Red Eyes.
Hello.
King Happy.
Hello.
Joe.
Hello.
And today we are going to be working on the Hanging Gardens of Babylon.
Red Eyes is so excited he's thrown chicken into the air.
Chicken.
So it seems like in terms of the materials that we will need, in the very least we'll need a few stacks of dirt because that's where we're going to plant the things.
Yeah. I have virtually none.
I have a whole bunch in my house that we could use. Presumably we'll also need some buckets of water. Luckily I have like 4 or 5 of those, so each of us can grab one of those. Do we want to go grab those now? What else will we need?
I think
we're
going to
need a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to need a lot more stuff, but I think if we're just laying out, it's a good place to start with the dirt as anything.
Mm-hmm. And I've got some pistons and some piston-making materials and some redstone as well. So King Happy, who knows a lot about redstone, could possibly be telling us like how big we should do stuff and things like that to make sure that we are not making inoperable farms.
Mm-hmm.
What are the general guidelines for redstone-friendly farms, King Happy?
Haven't done any recently actually for food.
Well, I was assuming like water goes a certain distance, and so you'd want your terraces.
Yeah, that's fine. You can do terraces go up and down like rice gardens, paddy field things.
Well, how exceptionally enthusiastic.
It depends how complicated you want to make them, really.
Yeah, it depends how they're laid out.
Oh, so close.
We get
Red Eyes,
murdered
you fell
repeatedly,
already?
commit suicide.
Are
We
you
didn't mean by yourself.
I'm just trying to get out of work.
King Happy? Did you get his stuff?
It's in the water actually.
It's alright, I'll be back in a
Okay.
sec.
Yeah, we'll let you get it. Okay, so this might be some of our less dramatic footage, excepting of course the death of our companion.
We might need to change the bowl to Red Eyes in the mausoleum.
I think we need to keep a track of who dies the most on the server and have regular funerals.
That'll be me.
Oh, every time there's a death message, we schedule a funeral in Skype. Hey guys.
There'll be a backlog. We have to do them like a week in advance.
Oh, I know.
It's like having the mass weddings. We just need mass funerals.
Yeah, we could set up some mass graves, and yeah, everybody loves those.
That's one of our big build projects. We've got to do a massive graveyard.
Actually, that would be a great Halloween project to do, like a New Orleans style graveyard with all the above ground tombs, crypts.
Getting out of that. Nope. A whole lot of nope.
Just now he's hanging around by my stuff.
Sorry.
You're fine. Whoa, lots of zombies here. So,
yeah, this area gets very, very busy very, very quickly.
yeah, that's why I'm running around with all the torches. So, Cleo, what were you thinking in terms of the first tier? How big were you thinking it would be? Would it be the largest of them? Cleo, push to talk.
Sorry, I keep on doing that. That really irritates me. Yeah, I was thinking the one at the bottom should be the largest one, and they go up sequentially. But to figure out, I'd need to spend some time with plots to figure out exactly the dimensions, because you'd want to have, you'd want to be able to have a central pillar or a central place where all the circles come out from. So,
well, here while we're doing our prototyping thing, is there a benefit to having it do some sort of weird like central pillar, right? So this is our central pillar, and then the discs would come off in different directions actually. So we have these circles.
Ooh, I like that
that
idea.
are so that way they're not blocking the sun on each other. Does that make sense?
No, that actually seems like a really good idea, and that actually 4 discs or even 4 semicircular discs would be a start.
And the other thing about it is it would be relatively modular, so if we wanted to, we could just make it higher.
Yeah,
and
extend it upwards.
Possibly extend like different discs out here and here. I mean, the actual thing would be wider, so we wouldn't have the sun blocking.
Yeah, and the middle tower would give us a place where we can actually get to the other levels.
Mm-hmm.
You mean like a big helix staircase?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Staircase.
Yeah, spiral staircase would be a great way to describe it. And then we could have the because the spiral would always be offset by a certain amount. You could have the water flowing from one into the next, if that makes sense. Like
That
if you
seems like a
spilled
really
water on a
great
spiral
idea, actually.
staircase.
I like the idea of having the water flowing down like in glass aqueducts. See, that's a really good idea. What Happy's doing there.
And then you have a central one in the middle.
Yeah.
And each thing will be far enough away so that it doesn't actually be obscured by the top one. That's what I thought. You'd have like a river running through it.
What I
How
like
do you
about
mean?
this is it actually looks like a plant. You could actually, if you made those like little areas like green on the bottom using like green wool, they would look like leaves.
Well, I was thinking, kind of the platforms they go down with things running between them. I looked a second ago at some of the pictures of the hanging guards of Babylon, and they're not what I thought they were going to be, I guess.
Well, nobody knows exactly what they actually were either. So it's
This
okay.
is sort of like a reinterpretation.
Now, when they said hanging, I took it literally hanging,
Ah.
which I thought would
No.
look quite cool.
Yeah, I think it just meant stuff in baskets and suspended from the ceiling.
With the ceiling, of course, being the sky.
Well, of course, it is hanging.
It is the greatest ceiling of all time.
I thought you'd be like doing floating islands linked together and stuff rather than... No, I thought actually like hanging structures rather than having just plants hanging.
Well, that's a way we could do it as well. I mean, there's we don't have to adhere to what they're suggesting, but it's a case of how would you make it hang? I mean, aside from the sky.
Well, you would do something like a central pillar of water or something, and then you'd have islands floating around it, linked together, and like it's Amazon kind of thing or something. I don't know.
You could do it in I mean.
Wait,
You
you know
could
what? We
do
actually
the-
already have a central pillar made of water on the server. if you made
Weird
a
that.
well, I know that's what I'm saying though. Is if you imagine looking at that, and then if it just had these circular discs that came off it, where water was flowing into them from the central
Yeah.
pillar and back out.
Yeah, that could totally be done.
Yeah, I don't know. This could get really complicated depending on
Well, I would have thought
how you
that
do it.
instead of having a pillar like that, the top you would have one mainstream coming down, and that would all be coming from one big sort of a little bit larger island at the top, and then all the other islands will kind of come down as
like
the
a-
water goes down with that.
Mm-hmm.
Sort
And
of
the island at the
cascading
top
water.
could
Yeah,
have
cascading water would look really cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
So, are we going to go from build height then? That's another question.
I don't know that we necessarily want to make it that big to start, because we can always make it taller later. Like if we get a functioning food farm on the server of any scale, it will be helpful. And so I don't know. Like it seems like what we could try and figure out is what does the bottom layers look like, and start working on those, and then plant, and then keep adding above them.
Do you want the bottom layer to be hanging as well, or do you want it to be actually on the ground? Because we could do that as well and have sort of like an entranceway and a pathway through it and do the first of the food farms there.
Well, it depends how you want to see it. Do you want it to be connected to the ground and kind of rooted somewhere, or do you want it to be more
I mean,
like
we need to be
wow,
able to
hanging
get
in the
to
sky?
it.
Well, you'd use another portal, wouldn't you? You'd just portal into it,
Huh, I guess that could work if it's far
and then
enough.
it could be completely away from the floor. And would that look more impressive?
I actually like that deer a whole lot, to be honest.
It's more sort of
I mean,
mythical.
Nothing, yeah, nothing actually touching the ground. And I mean, we don't even have to have that central pillar if we've got a nether portal at the bottom and nether portals at the top. And somebody else is going to have to do those because I suck at figuring out how those work. But you know, that seems like a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the way of connecting them with the different platforms with like islands, like
Yeah.
connecting them with either water or the trees and things like that, just so that they
Yeah,
look
I mean-
like a daisy chain kind of thing.
Yeah, we can certainly have jungle vines going between platforms upwards.
I'm just prototyping the spiral staircase type idea real quick. Where we would have, if we essentially wedges that
Here you
continue
could do
upward.
wedges.
We,
Either like leaves where they kind of separate, or do like big wedges that
Well, I
sort
was
of match
thinking,
each other.
just had a thought. If instead of doing wedges, we did like, circles, and at the bottom you have bigger circles, and then I don't know, just a different shape for each layer. They'd have to be pretty big though, and that way the lower ones could have taller plants on them, big trees.
Oh, that's a good point. Some of the trees in the game are pretty big, and so like the jungle trees or whatever.
Well, ideally you want it so that each platform has its own view to the sky, so wouldn't need to have a roof over top of it.
And because it would be cooler looking if you
Yeah.
could see the sky. But yeah, so this is kind of an example of how you have one wedge and then we'd have water flowing down to the next wedge, which I had laid out.
Do we want to do it that geometric though? I thought
Oh, it
each
doesn't
layer
have to
should
be.
be
This is just a prototype.
like its own island sort of thing, so each part of it looks like something unique, I guess.
Yeah.
More natural.
I'm gonna keep thinking of what's the film?
Well, like in Sonic the
the-
Hedgehog 3, they have the floating island.
I'm thinking of not Amazon, the blue guys.
Groundhog
Avatar.
Day.
Thinking of Avatar. Little sky islands joined together kind of thing.
I'm unfamiliar with the picture.
Yeah, we're gonna need a lot of dirt.
You'll need a lot of dirt.
Yep. So, okay, let's say that we did want to do the Sky Island thing, because I think that, because I've seen those in Sonic the Hedgehog, and those are cool there. So as long as they're not drastically different in Avatar, that's fine with me. Cleo, are you pretty happy with the Sky Island idea?
No, I'm absolutely happy to be with it, to be honest.
Okay, so it's
I know they're not quite the hanging baskets as such, but they themselves are hanging baskets of farms.
So I guess I'm just gonna
This is
start
true.
making the bottom part of like one of the Sky Islands. It should be like a reverse mountain, right? Where it's got like a peak, and then it gets wider as I go up here.
Like it's being ripped out the ground.
Oh, should we have a parallel hole in the ground, like to show that this has been torn upward? Oh, I fell
Yes,
off.
That
that'd
actually
be really
sounds
cool.
pretty cool.
And you could have it so that they'll have their own sky bit, so that it looks like you've just pulled out parts of it from the ground and just transposed them directly upwards, and then they all be linked together. That could be really cool.
Yeah, and if you actually, they have to be quite shallow if they're going to look good though, because otherwise you start getting them looking really pointy and
Yeah.
I'm gonna switch to wood scaffolding so it can be clear what is the project and what is the scaffold. Feel free to put a ladder
Right.
on this. Because I
I don't have any materials whatsoever.
Okay, Cleo, I'm gonna throw you some wood so you can make some ladders.
Charles?
Is that British for cheers or for Charles? I can't tell.
Well,
Charles.
Childs.
Well, since your name is not Charles, it's probably not that one.
I've got ladders. Don't know how I've got ladders, but I've got ladders.
Probably stole them, to be honest.
So I'm assuming I shouldn't make this too rounded. I'm trying to keep it a little bit irregular. I always love doing organic-y builds like this. Like, I used to have a bunch of nether tentacles on the old server that were just like me going up and just throwing netherrack in until it looked right. Those of you guys down on the ground, is this roughly what you were envisioning? I can't really tell, like, what it, or how it looks. And presumably we might want to put some stone in here, too.
Oh yeah, you'd have it.
Like,
You probably want the underside of it to be stone, and
Well,
then just
stone
the top
and
bit to
dirt.
be. Yeah.
but yeah, that's probably a good point.
No, like it has been ripped out the ground, kind of thing.
Yeah, oh, we could even put some ores in there, just
Yeah,
because
you
we
can.
know people will go chop them out anyway.
Well, iron ore probably won't get ripped out.
Or coal, yeah. So,
Well, it's been pulled out from the surface. It's only going to be iron and coal, isn't it?
yep. How big in diameter did you want this? Because right now it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks in diameter about.
We lost Cleo.
She's probably just not pushing to talk. Cleo.
No, she just connected.
Ooh. Well, she'll be
Left
back.
the channel.
hopefully.
Not moving either.
So are these purely floating islands?
No, she's gone.
How do you mean purely floating? What's the difference between partially floating and purely floating?
As in,
Well,
nothing holding them
one
up.
exists and one doesn't. I don't know.
As what?
One exists and one doesn't.
I guess.
Purely floating as in not attached to the ground at all.
Yeah,
That's what I would have thought. If you did completely floating, and then the only structure would actually be between the islands with either water or trees and things like that. That's what
well,
I was
the other thing we could
thinking.
do is we could build some sort of like chain or tethers, like that come from 4 directions, coming up at like a 45-degree angle to hook to the first island, and then one of those might have stairs along it or something, so people could run up the tether, like it would float away if it
Yeah.
was not chained down.
Like a daisy chain kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, you could always have it. Oh, I guess I don't know. You could always have it so that you would have chain going from the bottom on all the way to the ground, like it's being held on the ground.
Oh yeah,
It
that
doesn't
could be
float
good.
away.
Yeah.
I know it's not hanging there; it's kind of floating, but that could be
Yeah.
quite cool, like tethered to the ground.
Yeah.
We can make our own wonders of the world. We don't need to follow anything.
Well, that's kind of the point about this, is to try and like brainstorm things that we wouldn't have otherwise. One benefit of having these actually look like they're ripped out of the ground is that we know where we can get the dirt from.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be a bit bigger.
Yeah.
They gotta have some sort of gravitas to them.
Yeah.
They're sort of epic monuments. They can't be flimsy little things in the sky.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe 4 times as big, essentially. What is the diameter now?
But 12.
Yeah, so if it was 48 across, that would be massive. Cleo, that's the size of our work and draft plots, pretty much.
Yeah,
That might be too big for
I
the
think they're
first
too big
island.
if they're going to be that big, to be honest.
So maybe
You-
like 30?
30-ish, yeah. And they can be irregular shapes, so we don't have to be too precise.
I think it's probably best just to find where we actually want to do it, and then maybe pick how many platforms we want, and just map out the surface, just
Yeah.
like a disc, and then we can see how they can interlink to each other and make them irregular after that.
And we
As
could
long as we
even...
know how generally big they're going to be.
And once we know how generally big they are and where they're going to go, Cleo could also say, okay, guys, after we break up today, you go ahead and work on this one, you go ahead and work on that one, so that way we're not running into each other as well, you know.
Okay. Is this going to be our first island, or are we putting it further back?
Oh, I thought this was the mock still.
Yeah, okay. Just checking.
I don't know.
We could evolve this into our first one. At this point...
Do we want the islands here?
I was thinking further out on the plane, but only a little bit further.
Well, the other thing is that we could kind of, if it's going to be twice as big or whatever, we could just extend it out toward the plane. So this is the front edge is still where it is, but it doesn't get wider toward your house.
It could spiral backwards, yeah.
I'm not following what you've just explained.
Okay, we're going to make this thing twice as wide, right? But let's
Right.
say that we keep the front edge, where I'm right underneath, stays the same. So it gets wider going further
Behind.
into the
So,
plane.
Yeah.
sort of leaf shape, pointier at this end and fatter at that end.
Not necessarily, just like, it's like a circle that...
Just expand it, but away from the actual area we're in. So moving backwards.
Okay, should we just all get up there then and do that?
Yeah, that'd be, if we're going to use it.
Let's go for it. Might as well start.
Yeah, from the fountain at the village, it looks pretty good.
Oh,
Looks
yeah,
like
that,
a decent placement.
cool. Yeah, because that is one thing to keep in mind, is that we're going to want to have this in a loaded chunk. So,
Yeah, we don't want it to be too massive either, because otherwise we're just gonna make everything dark.
well, and we can put something, like, what I was thinking is, if we dug out underneath it, like where it had been ripped out of the earth, and then we fill that with water, then stuff won't spawn there. And we can
Or
even
you can just put colour carpet down, put glows underneath it so nothing spawns, but you don't actually see the light.
Sounds good.
Right, I'm out of dirt. Where do you reckon I should take the dirt from? Should I just go down there?
Yeah, I would say just dig out underneath this thing, because if we want to make it look like it got ripped out of the ground, that's going to be the best place to take the dirt from.
Pretty much how this works.
Oh, wow, there are like 5 of them after you.
There's gonna be more in a sec.
Yeah, you might want to actually just flee them. Well, the sun's about to go down.
Right, it's
Another
almost
day.
day, yeah.
The beautiful day. Oh, they only want a hug. Look. Oh, isn't that cute?
I like how they're marching in a sort of square.
Zombies' brethren want to hug.
Yeah, so this
They haven't
seems
too
like
hard.
about the right size for what we would want.
Come on, burn, you stupid zombies.
So should we have some sort of like wall or some sort of like stone block along the outer rim here to indicate that this has been, while this might have been magically pulled from the earth, we've like made it man's or safe or something? Does that?
Like rails around the outside, you mean?
Well, yeah, rails as in railings. Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily have to be railings per se. It could be any block as long as it's like a consistent ring of, like how Cleo had that sandstone ring around the earlier version. Cleo, are you saying stuff because you're not pushing to talk?
No, I'm not. I'm trying to think. And if you know me, you know how hard that is.
Thinking's
sorry.
dangerous.
It,
Well-
it's a trap, I have to say.
I was gonna say I could
well-
prototype it with some quartz or something. I could prototype it with quartz if you guys just wanted to kind of look and see how it looked.
Yeah, that seems like an idea.
So like something with a high definition or a high contrast would make it more visible from the ground where the bottom starts and the top
Would
begins.
that be... where we've got dirt now at the top, would that not be... I don't know, where would the stone be? Is that going to be getting near the railings for colour-wise?
Well, okay, well the stone that would go underneath the thing where it was ripped out would go underneath.
And I guess this grass, it would be grass as well here, not...
Yeah, we need to pull some grass up somehow.
Yeah, we could move up some grass and also we could set up some water in here. I got some buckets. So
Well,
like...
I've got grass blocks.
Okay, well that'd be easy. So like if we wanted to set up some sort of pond or something, let me just dig something out real quick. Okay, that's not a good place for that. Don't fall to your death over here, anybody.
I'm going to take a look at it from the side. You know, I think that quartz block needs to be one up, sort of like a block high, but you know, floating. For some reason, I feel
like
that
a rail.
like a proper rail. I think it needs kind of like, hey, this is still mystical, or even maybe the ring is just one outside floating, but one outside where the ring is, so it's a slightly bigger ring floating.
Oh, like it's like Saturn's rings. It's not touching the actual
yeah.
structure.
Yeah.
Like it would have a mystical mist in between the layers, kind of thing.
Okay, yeah. So I could use wood scaffolding to offset these by 1, and then we know to remove the wood.
Cool.
Let me do that. It's crazy how much further you can get in this game in 1 week with a whole server full of people playing. Like, the first week when I played back in Alpha or whatever, it was just like, oh, okay, I dug out a hill. Still haven't found any iron, because I didn't know you were supposed to, like, or, you know, real ores.
You didn't realise you were supposed to dig in a game called Minecraft.
Well, no, I was digging, but I was like, I thought if I dug into a mountain that the veins of ore would be inside the mountain. I didn't know that I had to, like, go to the bottom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, makes sense.
And so I'm just like doing everything with stone pickaxes. It's like getting nowhere. It was before we had boosters for minecarts, so they're all like, what do you call it? Just like gravity propelled. I'd have to climb up a ladder to start my Minecraft or mine track.
You see, my first Minecraft experience was super hostile. So, yeah.
You never played vanilla before that?
Not at all. No.
Really? I had no clue. What pushed you into Super Hostile?
I saw a JoeHillsTSD video. I hadn't even got Minecraft at that point, and that's what pushed me to get Minecraft.
Amazing.
I know. Scary things.
I'm amazed that you could learn the game while playing Super Hostile. I guess the Wikipedia and stuff
I
still
didn't.
works.
No, I didn't. I learned the game by watching the JoeHillsTSD.
Oh, okay.
Where do you
Actually,
reckon
that looks pretty cool. From down here. Sorry.
No, that's alright. I was just wondering where the second island should go so I can start digging out some dirt. Reckon to the south?
I was gonna say, Red Eyes, I see where you are down there. I think that, yeah, somewhere in that general relation direction.
Right.
Yeah, so southeast, I'd say, maybe? Like diagonal?
Be
I think
centered
where
over
zombie
here.
is now. Oh, where do we want? If we want it to curl around, where's the central sort of point gonna be between them?
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. If we wanted it to curve, then we might be better off going northwest.
No, just where do we want maybe the final island to be, or do we want a gap down the middle and be centered around something? I don't know if we want to be centered around the water bit down there or something, and have that as the waterfall, or I don't know.
All good questions. Have no idea.
All good questions, no answers.
Well, if we're gonna, are we thinking about having the water as sort of like a central thing and having it spiral down in a certain direction?
Well, you'd either have the central island as maybe the middle bit, sort of the focal point, I guess, and the water flowing from island to island, or you'd have the islands connected in some way, with the centre island having the water coming down to the middle between them all, I guess, as in like, not connected that way. It depends how you want to do it, I guess.
And one thing we could do is have a little bit of overlap between each island. So even if we don't have a central island, each one has water that flows through it that starts at the top and goes to the bottom, and then
or a bridge or vines or something.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of sort of like islands in sort of like a helical structure going upwards.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just make sure they all have sun on.
Yeah, that's going to be the tricky thing, I think.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying, like, if they essentially overlapped by one block, just enough that you could drop water off one onto the next and have vines hanging down.
Yeah, or build bridges and stuff.
Yeah. It's harder to move the water through bridges. I guess you could use aqueducts. But yeah, I'm looking at this from Spawn, and yeah, you can definitely see it. It's hard to tell what it is, because it's raining and Cleo's house is kind of in the way, but...
Always in the way.
Just break down the house, then you can go for yeah.
No, spoon.
No,
would
we
be
just need to make this bigger.
devastated.
That's how that works.
Yeah, if this is taller, I mean, well, as people will see it in the distance, they'll come toward it, and it'll be more obvious. But yeah, this definitely looks cool.
Do you want this to go near the snow area? I'm thinking probably not.
And if you want to have a snow-themed farm, icy farm.
Yeah, it will get cold up there. So anyway, yeah, if the islands were to have overlap at all, I was thinking it would be as minimal as like this pillar I'm on right now, and then there would just be kind of like water flowing down from. Oh well, I almost fell to my death right there, but luckily I dropped a bunch of water.
See how easy that is? See how easy that is?
You'll notice that I saved myself.
He wasn't doing push to talk, that's why.
No, I
That's
am doing
why-
push
that's
to
why.
talk. Yeah, you guys don't want it off push to talk, because then there will be a screaming baby all the time.
Oh, you're on push to talk?
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
it's always
that's why,
terrible.
because when we play PvP, you just talk to yourself and not us.
Well, also, yeah. Well,
Just that-
it's one of those things. Like sometimes I want to talk to my fans, or to the viewers, and not bother you guys, right? Like
There
you're
she
having a
goes.
conversation about something else. Really, Cleo?
Future
My
behaviour
brain
is
was like,
predicted
I've
by
taken
past
it off to
behaviour.
push to talk now, so I don't need to use any buttons like the shift key, for goodness sake. I'm first deaths on the server. My first deaths.
Really?
And oh, how many of them there are.
That was literally my first deaths.
Well, I'm gonna come dig out some dirt from over here.
Yeah, that's
and
what I
put
want to
some
do.
light in over here.
Oh, my stuff's in the bottom. Okay, that's. I don't know
Way,
what time of my
giggity.
death. Oh dear, it's gonna be one of those days, is it?
Yep.
Well, you did commit suicide twice. Things that today is the suicide day. That Red Eyes committed suicide. You committed suicide twice. I mean, if it...
Hang
And,
on,
and
hang
next
on.
time
I
we're gonna
I
push
did
you
mine
off.
almost
See
on
how that
purpose.
works?
No, Cleo, you died. You died early as well. You fell from the iron farm. So did Joe.
That's true. Okay, all my
I fell
deaths so
from the
far
iron
have been
farm as well.
suicides.
Yeah, so Joe's on one, Red Eyes is
No,
on
I had
one.
two.
you're
I
on
fell from the
three.
iron farm the other video too.
Oh, you did. Yeah, that's twice today. So yeah, Cleo's on 3, Red Eyes on 1, you're on 2.
Hang on. This is 3 for the whole time the server's been open.
We're talking about today though. Nothing else
Yeah,
matters.
that doesn't work with me. I'm sorry, it doesn't wash. You're gonna have to accept your vague ineptitude with the amount of deaths you have. I'm sorry.
I got
that's
loads
what-
of
Well,
deaths.
it sounds like what Cleo is saying is, if you want her future, you got to get her past.
This is gonna go.
God.
This is gonna go into Spice
You're gonna
Girls
start
songs.
singing again.
No, I'm not, because I know how the.
Okay, this is where I was thinking where the second island would go, and maybe.
How about this, Cleo? How about we indicate where the second island should go by digging out the hole that it'll make, so that way
Okay.
we know where it is and we have the dirt to start making it. Or wait, do you just want where that platform is? Because in that case, I'll just go do that.
Sorry, what did you ask again, Joe?
Never mind.
I never
I think
do.
we're all tired.
I think it's been a long day.